Now, you did see the trailer
Yes, I did. I've watched it several times.
several times. I can
Several
understand
times.
why. I can definitely understand why you might want to watch this several times. So, overall, what was your impression of the trailer?
I'm looking forward to it. I love '80s period type stuff to begin with. I love the song that's in the trailer. So like I loved all the graphics like that they used to set it up. I mean, for me, this was pretty much a home run for me. I mean, I love the first Wonder Woman movie. I love that sequence in No Man's Land. That's still one of the best like action sequences I've seen in a comic book movie for me, and I'd say since probably Winter Soldier. Um, but no, yeah, this was I really liked this. There's one thing I found a little odd. I don't. Towards the end of the trailer, they show her in the Kingdom
We're going to
Come.
show the trailer, so we
Okay,
can
go ahead.
talk about specifics in a second. I just wanted your overall impression of it.
No, no, I
Um,
really liked it. What were your impressions of it?
I liked it as well. We try to we kind of try to not use audio because we're afraid of copyright flags, and obviously the music from this particular trailer would probably get us a copyright flag immediately. But I just want to say that was one of my favorite parts of the trailer. Doing that music, that particular song, and the way they did it, it really gave me that 80s feel, because I grew up in the 80s, and I have total nostalgia for the 80s and miss the 80s in a lot of ways. So that the choice of music, I think a lot of people have said this, the choice of music almost makes the trailer.
Yeah,
Unfortunately, we won't be playing the audio. We'll just be giving our commentary because that seems to be the easiest way to do this without getting the copyright flags and getting struck. Because it seems like the audio seems to be a big issue when it comes to YouTube and doing these trailer reviews. Although I see plenty of other people do it and they're fine, I see other people do it and they get flagged. So to be safe, we do our commentary with no audio. So I'll go ahead and start. I'll start it. We've got the sort of opening shot that I'm guessing is just oh, we got pictures of it, right? Okay, so now this is something a lot of people have been talking about as far as people that are a little bit worried and critical. This is the actress that's going to be playing a major character in this film, and she's mostly known for comedy. So there are some concerns about whether she can pull this off. She's been playing Cheetah, right? So
yeah,
there are some concerns about whether she can pull this off or not. This particular scene I thought worked okay. This is obviously before her transformation. I feel like they're kind of going, kind of like the Michelle Pfeiffer Catwoman route, where she's going to be kind of this meek nobody, kind of thing, and then she's going to turn into this sort of like, badass. That's what I'm thinking. Based
right.
on this little interaction, where the two of them are obviously friends. We've got the picture of oh no, I'm messing up on
Steve
Trevor,
Trevor.
Steve Trevor. Okay, obviously this is from World War One. They're still having their little talk. Everything's pleasant. They're good.
I really like it.
I like the way they're doing the logos too.
Yeah, I did too. I like these graphics. It really set the mood.
I enjoyed that, and then the way they did this. Yeah, I mean, just
Yeah,
I
yeah.
like it. 1984, and I just really feel it. And I think at this point the music's really kicking up too, because the
Oh
first
yeah.
like 10 seconds or so there's no music, and then the music starts, in this trailer. And of course, yeah, that's why a lot of people want to watch this video over and over again. Gal Gadot is just gorgeous, just absolutely stunning woman. Got a mall scene. Now this little image we had before. There's better images later. But this is the villain, I believe, right? This is our baddie.
Well, yeah. I mean, he'll play a villainous role. We'll have to wait for a little bit more information for the movie, but if I remember correctly, that this is Maxwell Lord, and Maxwell Lord in the comics, if you read them, Max wasn't really a villain until later on in the DC universe. He was seen as sort of like a shady character because of the role that he played in basically taking the Justice League of America and setting them up as Justice League International and then putting them kind of on the world stage. If you read the Keith Giffen, the Giffen DeMatteis JLI run, which I would highly recommend to anyone. So I don't immediately see Max Lord as a villain. He may be that in this movie and portrayed that way, but to me, Max Lord is one of the people who helped to, organize the Justice League. One of my favorite versions of the Justice League. So I don't immediately see him as a villain.
That's interesting. So we got this little action sequence in the mall with Wonder Woman there. Looks very cool. I like her outfit.
Yeah, it's a little bit brighter and shinier.
And yeah, this is my understanding. It doesn't mean I'm correct, but my understanding was that he's playing the main villain.
No, that's what I'm saying. He may be the villain, but it's interesting too because with these TV segments that they're showing with him, it reminds me more of Glorious Godfrey and the Legends miniseries, which was in the 80s. And Glorious Godfrey is actually a new god. He was actually from Apocalypse. He was a servant of Darkseid. And he basically was on sort of like a PR, was running a PR campaign and kind of won people to his side and then turned them against the heroes. So, but that when I saw this, that's what I thought. I thought of Glorious Godfrey. I didn't think of Max Lord. But anyhow, go ahead.
Gotcha. They could be combining different themes and different character story arcs. They do that quite a bit when it comes to the movie and TV adaptations. So
yeah,
she actually threw her tiara, huh? So I
thought that was cool.
I noticed that the first time because that's a very Linda Carter Wonder Woman thing.
Yeah, which I thought was awesome.
I do like the outfit quite a bit. And she's thinking about Steve Trevor, I think. Now we kind of get some rumblings, I guess, of maybe some issues with the Cheetah character. She might be not quite what she seems, which we know she's not because she's going to be a villain. Now we got Steve Trevor back, and a lot of people are speculating, how do we have Steve Trevor back?
I honestly don't have a clue.
Really?
I'm gonna wait for the movie. There's any number of things that could be going on here. I mean, Max Lord in certain versions of the comics has the ability to kind of mind control people. That could be Maxwell Lord pretending to be Steve Trevor and creating that image in her mind, and that could be like an ultimate betrayal kind of thing. I'm not exactly sure how they're going to pull this all together, but because Diana has a link to the gods of the ancient world. I mean, there could be magic involved. It could be any number of things. So you said you want to find out from the movie, so I'm not going to spoil it for you. But Midnight's Edge has reported a plot leak from a test screening where they basically gave the entire plot of the movie. And to me, it's interesting. Their take, I think, was that I won't say they didn't like it. I think that they were concerned about it because the person who gave them the leak hated it. They hated the test screening and were very angry. And that's why they contacted Midnight's Edge in the first place. The Midnight's Edge people, from what I've seen of their coverage, they're like, well, this is one guy's opinion. Yes, the plot kind of sounds a little weird. I can say it involves magic. I'll just say that. It's a magical thing. That would make sense.
Which, like I said, to me would make sense because the Wonder Woman is a character based on myth. So if you're going to throw in magic, that's fine. I mean, she is magic. I mean, how did Wonder Woman even come to be? She's in the movie continuity. She's the daughter, basically, of the god Ares and her mother, right? So and she's like the only Amazon that was actually has a father, right? All the other Amazons are like built out of clay or something like that, right? So
no, it actually all the Amazons were born. The original origin of Wonder Woman is she was sculpted from clay.
Yeah,
And
but
her
they changed
mother
that in the
followed-
movie. In the movie,
yeah.
she's the daughter of Ares. So you have to be careful because the continuities are not the same from the comics to the different properties.
No,
Sometimes they're not even the same from one comic to one comic because they've revamped and redone these things a billion times. You know what I mean?
right. Well, and what they did is in the movie they say that the being sculpted from clay, that's what she believes, and it turns out she was actually born. This actually comes out of the new 52 version of Wonder Woman, is when they said that she was actually born, because prior to that she had been sculpted basically from clay. But all the other Amazons,
That's the one. That's the origin I always remember is her being sculpted from clay. But they
right,
obviously changed that in the movie.
right. And in all the other Amazons, they were born and they've been on Paradise Island, and most of them are basically immortal. So they actually go back to ancient times. The only new quote unquote child that ever existed on Paradise Island was Diana. All the rest of them have been basically adults since they came to Paradise Island or Themyscira. I'm a big Wonder Woman nut, and I worked on Wonder Woman, so but
Yeah,
bear with me.
absolutely.
There's gonna be a lot of factoids thrown around.
Yeah, but the point. My point I'm trying to make is that they've redone the origins. You know what I mean?
Yes,
I always
yes.
went with the clay thing. That's what I grew up always thinking. And that was the story that was near and dear to my heart. But they changed in the movie. The movie that they didn't do that. So, so here we got him again. We don't know what he's holding here, but this is kind of related. To anybody who wants to look into it, the plot leak, it kind of doesn't confirm it. It just kind of goes into that, what he might be holding there. Got some chaos scene here. Looks like that's still from the mall. Steve Trevor's obviously displaced in time. There's some comments he makes that make it pretty obvious that he's not just he's kind of like he's the old Steve Trevor. He's the World War I Steve Trevor. He hasn't just been hanging out all this time.
Right, which is good because in the Wonder Woman television series, the way they did that time jump, because in the television series, she was active during World War II, and then she went back.
Yeah.
And then Steve Trevor stayed in America, and then when she had to she basically sort of returned again in the modern day, which at that point was the 70s, early 80s. And then it was actually I think it was the grandson or great grandson or something of Steve Trevor. And he just happened to look and sound exactly like him.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, that was apparently I was looking into that the other day because they were doing a Wonder Woman marathon on Decades. And Decades is one of those like sub-digital channels that some people have. It's free. It's on the air. And I think every Sunday they do like a different marathon of all these different shows. And sometimes they're really obscure shows, like shows that only lasted like one season. But they did one the other night of Wonder Woman, and I was watching like 2 or 3 episodes, and it got me on this, that the Linda Carter Wonder Woman kick. And I looked some of that information up, and apparently what happened was when they decided to renew Wonder Woman for the second season, the studio basically said, we'll do this on one condition: get rid of this period stuff, because this period stuff is costing us an arm and a leg, put it into modern times. So they had to figure out a way to do that, and that's what they came up with. So that was the reason why it was a production issue. They just didn't like doing a period piece because period pieces are expensive. So they didn't want to keep it in World War II anymore. So we got a fight here. Is this kind of like a callback to Superman and even X-Men? Is this at the White House? Do we know?
I'm not sure, because this could be Max Lord. I'm not sure if even, because this guy behind her could be him. I'm not sure.
Let's look at these uniforms a little bit. I can't tell if those are Secret Service uniforms or not.
I don't think they are.
The uniform Secret Service. I need to look at their uniforms to compare it, but it's very official looking, whatever this place is.
Yeah.
Anytime I see an assault on the White House, I always think of Superman 2. And then I also think of how X-Men did a brilliant homage to that, because we know Bryan Singer was a huge Superman fan, and obviously that scene in what is it? That's X-Men 2, right?
Yeah,
where they actually have gosh, I'm doing terrible on names today.
Nightcrawler.
Nightcrawler does the assault on the White House. It's a classic scene, and I always feel like I know it's a huge throwback to Superman 2. So I don't know if that's what's going on here, but that's what it reminds me of. And I don't know if that's the case. Like you said, it could just be another character's place or whatever. So,
well, and that's Steve Trevor behind her. So,
yeah, that's a pretty cool scene right there.
Yeah.
I always love the using the bracelets with the bullets and stuff like that. That's very iconic to me, having grown up on the Linda Carter Wonder Woman. All right, and we can see there's a little transition there with our Cheetah character. What's her real name? What's her name?
It's Kristen Wiig.
No, not the actress. The character's name.
I'm going to be honest with you. I don't remember.
Really?
I don't remember.
So anyway, obviously we can see a transition is going on here. This again, to me, this is very much Michelle Pfeiffer Catwoman. That's how I'm looking at it. She's making this transition where now she's starting to be, sexier, more confident, that kind of thing, which is going to, I think, go into her transition to become this villain. That's just my take. No spoilers or anything like that. That's not part of my spoiler material. That's speculation. Nice little scene there with Steve Trevor and Wonder Woman. Her using the last. See, these scenes look like Secret Service to me. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it could be. It could be the White House. I mean, I could see what you're saying. It could very well be.
Little throwback to when she was a kid. That was actually one of the things I really enjoyed in the first movie because I went with my kids, and I did enjoy the flashbacks or the pictures of her when she was growing up. So it'll be nice that they have a little of that in this movie as well because I did enjoy that. But she is running, and again, I do really like the outfit. I think it looks awesome, but it's hard for anything to look bad on Gal Gadot. I think I'm not sure if that's possible. Is it? So
probably not.
She is a striking woman. It looks like we are going to get some Paradise Island shots. I don't know if this could be for part of the flashback, but maybe we'll get some new stuff too. Yeah, there's some good looking action sequences here. That's kind of it's pretty cool. That made it look like maybe that Navy ship was actually shooting at Wonder Woman. We'll see if that's. They always do a lot of misleading editing in trailers, so we'll have to see if that's what's going on or not.
Yeah, this shot here I thought was pretty cool. Her actually like riding the lightning. I was like, wow, that's pretty cool.
So this is probably one of the more, I don't want to say controversial, but it's definitely one of the more, there are people that are divided on their opinions of this. What do you think of this particular outfit?
Well, it's the Alex Ross Kingdom Come Wonder Woman armor. Like that's what it is. So I think it looks pretty cool. The only part in this is just I thought it was weird. They show her kind of shedding the wings. And then the next clip right after that, she's in it and she's got the wings and she's deflecting a bullet. I thought it was a little odd because you're showing it backwards. It's like they should have shown her, deflecting the bullet and then cut to this thing with the wings falling away. And then, you know what I mean? It would have it was a little odd. But no, I like I like the Alex Ross, we're seeing a lot of the Kingdom Come iconography working their way into other things. We've got her wearing the armor here in Wonder Woman 84. We've got, of course, Brandon Routh in the Kingdom Come Superman costume in Crisis right now. We've got Kevin Conroy in the Kingdom Come Batman, sort of mechanized exoskeleton thing. So they're just taking these really kind of fan favorite classic, kind of suits, and they're beginning to integrate them into other things. So I don't have any issues with the outfit because, like I said, to me, it's just one of Wonder Woman's classic, kind of outfits. I wish they would have waited to Kingdom Come to do it. I mean, it's going to be it's a little disjointed me to see all these different suits running around out of context. But no, I don't have any issues.
That's what the television and movie divisions do.
Yeah.
I think that's their job. I think that's in their contract that they have to do
Yeah.
that. No context is allowed, Dave. That's not no. We
Hey,
can't.
you know what? As long as it isn't as bad as Steel, we're doing okay. You know, that's where I draw the line. What did you think of the suit? Were you familiar with it at all?
Yeah, I Kingdom Come is one. I've told you, Alex Ross and Bruce Timm are my two favorite comic book artists. So, yeah, I have Kingdom Come. I own it. The thing is you always worry is how sometimes when you do something in a comic book, how well will it translate into a movie? We were talking about X-Men earlier. Remember, that was a big argument with X-Men. That's why none of them have their iconic suits in the movies, right? It's because they said, oh, well, that's not
Right.
going to translate. You don't want to see Wolverine in yellow spandex. Well, I actually do, you know? But the question becomes, will it work? And that's not just up to me. I mean, that's up to the costume designers and can they adapt this and make it right? So my initial reaction to it is I don't hate it. I don't love it either. I don't think it looks as good as it looks in the comic. That's my take on it. I like the other one. I like the classic Wonder Woman outfit. I like the way it looks like they did some like kind of subtle changes to it that I like. And I like seeing her in the iconic Wonder Woman outfit. That's what I like personally. I have no problem with the Kingdom Come stuff, but I think it looked better in the comic than it does on screen, at least right now, of what I'm seeing.
All right.
But I like the iconic Wonder Woman outfit, you know. So that's always going to be my bias. I grew up on Super Friends, and that's always what I'm going to like, you know. So
right. And I like this little bit where she's walking around and she's telling him it's all art, and he starts to inspect the trash can. I thought that was kind of fun.
And that obviously tells us that he is out of place. He's out of time. This is the World
Right.
War I Steve Trevor. He has been brought back somehow. Like I said, I don't think it's a huge spoiler to say magically. And that can be in quotes or however you want it. But that is obviously the World War I Steve Trevor. He hasn't been in cryonic suspension or something the last, what is it? Gosh, this is supposed to be 84. End of World War II World War I was in 1918. So, yeah, he hasn't been on ice all that time. So
A few years. A few.
Yeah, and by the way, that was one thing. That was one thing I was really concerned about. But honestly, the plot leak that I heard, a lot of people don't like it. To me, I'm like, okay, well, the plot leak I heard, then I'm okay with Steve Trevor being back, because the thing with me is one of the things I really loved about the first Wonder Woman movie was the way it treated Steve Trevor. They very easily could have made Steve Trevor this sort of hapless idiot that Wonder Woman is constantly saving and rescuing, and is kind of a bumbling fool, and kind of
Right.
quote unquote payback for all the times that women have been portrayed like that in cinema over the last 100 years. But they didn't do that. And I really appreciated that. They made Steve Trevor a really compelling and heroic character, to the point that he's really the big hero at the end. He's the one who makes the big sacrifice and saves all these people, not Wonder Woman. And I thought that was amazing. I really liked that. So, of course, having a heroic death, you're always like, well, if they bring the character back, are you negating the heroic death? And in this particular case, I think it'll be okay. I'm hoping it'll be okay. Just based on the information that I've heard. Again, that's from Midnight's Edge, if anybody's interested in spoilers and stuff like that. And also remember, you always have to treat that kind of stuff with a grain of salt, because this is just some guy who came into them and said, I saw the test screening. He could have made it all up. So,
Right.
So you always have to take that with a grain of salt. But I'm thinking it'll be okay.
Well, and I really like the dynamic between Gal Gadot and Chris Pine. Like they played off of each other really well. And I did like the fact that he was a war hero. He wasn't a bumbling buffoon who needed to be saved. I mean, I really liked his portrayal of Steve Trevor, and I'm just excited they found a way to bring him back. So, let me put it this way: after having made it through 3 episodes of Crisis, I'm not sure if you can give me a scenario I'm not going to believe. After the stuff I've had to accept. But we'll see. But no, I really like the trailer. It looks good. I'm excited to see the movie. I thought when I saw the dynamic too between Kristen Wiig and Gal Gadot when they had that one little scene where they're kind of bantering back and forth, I thought, oh well, if they're going for this kind of thing, I think this will work. You know, because Kristen Wiig can pull that off. So we'll see. We'll see.
She's probably the element that I'm most concerned about. I have never seen her in anything where I would be convinced of her being an action hero, but we'll see. We'll see what happens, or villain for that matter.
Right.
So we'll see. We'll see what that transition is like. Again, I think it's going to be very Michelle Pfeiffer, but Michelle Pfeiffer, I'm just going to say it, I think is a much better actor than she is, and so we'll just see. We'll see what happens. You know.